Hello, ladies and gentlemen. To quote one of the most famous astrophysicists of our time, Neil deGrasse Tyson, if the entirety of humankind's history was laid out on the calendar, humankind's history would only take up the last 4 seconds on the last day of the last month. However, let's get to another topic. While it's no secret that in order to pass the AP World History exam, you need only use the words cultural diffusion and globalization, there is a debate over whether those words actually even matter, which is precisely for this reason why we are going to have a debate. What is the cause of global warming and globalization? Is global warming really just a myth? How can we prevent such disasters as Fukushima from happening again and nuking half of Japan? In order to figure this out, there's only one place to search. Sir, right there, can you ask me a question? Does global warming exist? Global warming? Global warming? What are you kidding me? Global warming has been around for hundreds of years. Get out of here, kid. Global warming's a myth. Welcome to tonight's, or rather this afternoon's, Theater of Terror, where I, your host, Marco A. Barone, highlight some of history's most gruesome defining moments, which one of ours just so happens to be global warming. But hang on! A debate that cannot be debated because minds will not be changed can only be debated by the most unchangeable minds. Me, Marco A. Barone. Hello, it's good to be back. Good to be on the show. What has it been? Only a month since we last took up our last former talk show, The Colbert Report? For 1 month in the Gulag, Marco, you look good. Let's get on to the real reason why we're here. You mean there's a reason why the sky is getting darker? Why Los Angeles has become a basket for all of the world's carbon emissions and CO2 gases? Well, when you put it like that, it sounds like the world is coming to an end, like the sky is falling down, like Odin is finally going to return us to Mjolnir. Yeah, Baron 2, Mjolnir is Thor's hammer, and it's not nearly that bad. But I will say this, take a sip of water, sit down, and hold on to something, because this, my friends, isn't an inconvenient truth. Take a look at this graph here. Oh, don't even get me started on that guy Al Gore. He screwed up an entire generation of environmental and political thinkers by telling them that the only people who care about the environment are those that have the political means to do so, such as running for president, or, I don't know, gaining massive amounts of money from a super PAC. Of course it's true. We have every other reason to ignore global warming other than the one at hand. We have the war in Syria and Iraq. We have ISIS to worry about. We have the dismal state of our Jewish communities in France to worry about. But I'll tell you this one thing. Global warming is a problem and we should worry about it. In 20 or 30 years, we aren't going to have icebergs and ice packs to worry about. In 20 or 30 years, the CO2 emissions in our atmosphere will degrade the ozone and tremendously heat up our summers and our winters to where the climate in our world will be so drastically changed we won't even recognize our own planet. So global warming is certainly an issue that we must worry about right now.
I get it. I can understand what's going on. We're putting carbon dioxide in the air at a prodigious rate, and the world's getting warmer, and you can know this by looking at the neutrons in the ice. You can know this by looking at the pollen grains per cubic centimeter in the sediment of ponds. You can know this by looking carefully at the rings on trees during warm seasons, wet seasons, cold seasons, dry seasons. And you can work your way back and figure out that the Earth is getting warmer faster than it's ever gotten before. And that's the problem. It's not that the world hasn't had more carbon dioxide. It's not the world hasn't been warmer. The problem is the speed at which things are changing. We are inducing a sixth mass extinction event kind of by accident.
Behold Exhibit A, globalization, an occurrence only showing up in the last 200 years with the creation of the Industrial Revolution and global trade. The effects were immediately revealed that with the pervasive use of coal in the global economy, the air was becoming more and more polluted. By definition, globalization is the process of international integration arising from the interchange of worldviews, products, ideas, and other aspects of culture. The byproduct to a highly industrialized society is pollution caused by rainforest burning, colonization, overpopulation, and industrialization. This isn't just a myth out of inconvenient truth that is actually a fairly accurate interpretation of global warming. Rather, this is the world we live in today. However, this isn't to say that nothing is being done. The world, and the US in particular, have been creating energy-efficient cars and solar panels that have helped mitigate the effects of CO2 emissions on our planet. However, this isn't nearly enough that we could be doing to help reduce the caustic reactions of CO2 to the world. The US hasn't even joined the Kyoto Protocol, a game-changing piece of legislation in the environmental world that was adopted by the UN. America has become a town of hypocrites and business conglomerates who only push companies who profit off of environmentalist ideas rather than push the companies and legislation who do this for good reasons rather than profit.
You know, Obama is still perhaps our best hope, but he's going to have to study this problem and understand it. Presently, his approach is to let Congress debate it and make their horse trading and end up with some sort of compromises with the polluters. And then we end up with this cap and trade and offsets and a completely ineffective system. But this is this situation in which we can see what we are doing to future climate and what the implications will be for young people. We're in danger of sending them into a situation where dynamical system will be out of their control. But the intergenerational injustice of that is, this problem is analogous to that faced by Abraham Lincoln with slavery or Winston Churchill with Nazism. It's not a problem where you can compromise. Lincoln couldn't say, well, let's reduce the slaves by 50%. Yeah, you can't compromise on this. We have to phase out the carbon dioxide emissions over the next several decades. And frankly, that means phasing out coal emissions.